First of all, considering I've been such a terrible attendee at our meetings, thank you very much for asking me to be here today. Mark actually kind of snuck this one in on me over the radar. We're at a soccer game watching our daughters play, and you know, I'm really engaged in the game, and I hear him over here, "Hey, John." "Yeah, man, sure, yeah, And after the game, "So we're on for the 31st, he says. "What? Huh? You said yes, you'd come present at our Rotary meeting." And I said, "What are you talking about, man?" He goes, "Well, I asked you, you said yes." "Okay, I'll come present at the Rotary meeting." In all seriousness, any opportunity I have to share what I know and what I love, I'll take. So it's a pleasure and it's an honor to be here. I asked Mark what he wanted me to talk about today, and he said, I don't know, how about something interactive? I said, "Okay, I'll come talk about something interactive." And he says, "Cool, can you bring a table?" And I said, "Oh, that kind of interactive. Okay, we'll see what we can come up with." So if I call on one or more of you today, it's for Mark because he wanted an interactive presentation. But what I really want to talk to you today about is something that John Musney is very, very familiar with, and that is investing. How many people in this room have a retirement plan of some kind? Any kind? 401k, mutual funds, stocks, bonds, savings accounts? Okay, look, come on, hands up, hands up. Come on, don't be embarrassed. I got one too. All right, cool, very good. It's something that we think about all the time, our future. You know, when it's going to get here, what it's going to look like. We got to put away right now to have something for later. Right, John? Okay, very good. How many of you do something daily, weekly, monthly, on a regular basis to invest in the most important asset you have, your health? How many of you on a regular basis? Okay, this is a fantastic room. If you didn't raise your hand, or you're in your mind out there and you're going, "Oh God, I could do more. Oh, I wish I could do more. Oh, he's right." What are we saving for, right? We all have to make withdrawals at some point, okay? I recently had to make one. I was hobbling around our clinics wearing what's called a cam walker. It's a great big boot all the way up to my knee, you know, to-tink, to-tink, to-tink. But, you know, I'm a pretty resilient guy. I put a lot of deposits into my healthcare account, right? I train, I eat well, I sleep, I meditate, I do all sorts of things to fill up that account, my investment account of health, so that when I have to take a withdrawal, I've got a really solid balance, right? If any of you are out there today thinking, "Man, you know, I'm getting to the age when, you know, the hubcaps are going to start flying off, things are going to start happening," it doesn't matter. You can start investing at any age, right, John? Okay, yes, you can. Okay. And what I want to talk about, I made a handout, but I'm just going to glance over this because what I really want to talk about is the secret sauce to taking what every single person in this room already knows and putting it to work so that you actually get the kind of returns on your health that you deserve, that your family deserves, and that you can actually bring to the world. Because after all, what is our body? Anybody? What is our body? Galen, what's your body to you, pal? Okay, he said it's his life, okay? I would say that it's my life force. It's the first view that any of you get to look at my soul, right? We see somebody, we make first impressions within about 20 seconds, and they stick. Like, that's it. You don't get a second chance at that. So your body is the only thing you take with you everywhere you go, right? And if you're not investing in it and you're not doing things daily so that when you have to make a withdrawal, and we're all going to, how many people have had to make a withdrawal from their healthcare bank account for one reason or another? In this room, come on. Injury, sickness, surgery, medication, you name it. We all will. So why not do simple things on a daily basis and make it a part of our lives so that when those times come, we can really rise up and do what we all need to do more of, and that's just be resilient. Show up in a strong, powerful, meaningful way. So real quick on this list, I have extra copies up here. I don't know if I put enough out on the tables, but what you eat occasionally has very little impact on your health. What you eat all the time has a lot of impact on your health. Just have it. I listed for you guys 12 foods that I would encourage anyone and everyone not to eat. Or if you eat them very sparingly, please. They're just terrible for you. Another list of 12 that are fantastic, and the reasons why they're fantastic. Second page, exercise. We could talk about this all day long, but it's not really what I want to get to. Exercise needs to be a combination, always, of resistance training first and cardiovascular training second. Some of you might argue differently. Just go look at the literature, and I've listed some things for you here to read. Top 10 myths, okay, that are just perpetuated everywhere about exercise and why things work and things don't work. I'm going to get bulky. I can spot reduce my fat. Things like this. They're all myths. The section that I really want to talk about, we're going to get to, but because Mark asked for an interactive presentation, I want all of us to interact. And so I'd like everybody to stand up, please. I know, I just ate. So if you're unsteady at all, you feel dizzy at all, reach out and grab a chair or grab a table or put your hand on somebody, because I'm going to ask you to shut your eyes. So steady yourself. Steady yourself on a chair or on a table, and close your eyes, please. We're going to take a little trip. We're going to take a journey. Imagine for a second your last week of life. Imagine for a moment your funeral. I want you to imagine who's there, what the mood is, what they're saying about you, who is eulogizing you, what kind of impression did you leave on their lives now that you're gone, and what that day looks like for everyone who's present. Now gently open your eyes and have a seat. Did everybody notice how quiet the room got? Did everybody notice? Okay, it's because we all know it's coming for us. I do too. Haven't met anybody yet who's escaped that day. So if we know that, why aren't we doing more preventative things? Why aren't we investing in making that time in our life all that it can be? Why aren't we investing in being a better example for the people that are closest to us? There's lots of reasons why, and those reasons are only for us as individuals to figure out. But a couple of things I'd really like to talk about, and Dave, this is a shout to you. I consulted a little bit this week with Dave. Last week, I told him I was going to be here, and went over to A&O and chatted him up a little bit. And I asked him about some of the most important supplements that he recommends, and all but one were already on my list. All but one. And I am a big fan of eating clean, lean food, whole foods, nothing that's in a package or in a box or that's processed. I try to avoid it like the plague, okay? I really do. And I even teach my kids, not to eat things in a box, not even cereal. Cereal is one of the worst things. It can last on a shelf for 20 years, for God's sake. Why would you put that in your mouth? So Dave and I had a chat, and there are certain foods that automatically, just by virtue of what they contain, that are unbelievably good for us, that we should try to get more into our diets on a daily basis. Tiffany, I told you I was going to call you out a little bit. I love reading about blue zones because it's just fascinating research. It's fascinating literature. There are some of these really small esoteric villages all over the world who don't have any medical care, for example, at all. Some of them smoke like fiends, and they don't have any cardiovascular disease. None. Zero. They live into their 90s. I'm talking about the Acherolis. I'm talking about the Catawbans. All of these people have been extensively studied, and some of the common threads out of this research and out of this literature is just how they live and what they eat. If we think about how things have changed over the last 100 years, think about it. 100 years ago, what were we all doing more of? We were all outside a lot more. None of us had SPF 50 all over us. None of us were inside under fluorescent lights for hours and hours a day. We all used our bodies far more and into far greater years than we use them today. That's just how things were. And today, things are a lot different, but they don't have to be. And so one of the things that I'm just going to posit to everybody here today is that even if you eat a really clean diet, and it's really, really solidly wholesome, good, clean food, if you're active and you want to stay that way, and you want to continue to have lean mass on your body as you age, and you want to exercise, and you want to go to balance classes, and you want to swim, and you want to do all the things that many of you in this room enjoy doing, you've got to do a little bit better than that, meaning you have to supplement. And in three, Tiffany, correct me if I'm wrong, in 3 of the blue zone areas around the world, they go through a liter of olive oil per week. A liter of olive oil per week. That's like 10 or 12 tablespoons a day. And there are studies that have been done, and correct me if I'm wrong, please, you're the blue zone liaison in this room. Most of the studies come out of Spain, but they'll look at groups of people that live in these villages over 5-year periods. 5 years they study these people. And in one group, they'll give them a liter of olive oil each week. They go to the clinic, they get a new liter of olive oil every week. And then both groups are on a lean, clean Mediterranean diet for a period of 5 years. And when they go back and they look at the results, the pre and post, after a 5-year period, these olive oil groups have improved memory. They have improved memory. They have a larger hippocampus in their brain, which is where we store memory. How in God's name does that happen? And the group that was still on the lean diet, but without the olive oil, less memory, smaller hippocampal areas in the brain. It's fascinating stuff, but it's real. Olive oil, it's not really the oil, it's the polyphenols. And Dave and I, we talked a little bit about this. You know, polyphenols, guys, are they're plant compounds that plants make to help themselves be more resilient against stress, particularly against the sunlight. And yeah, let's see, how can I tie this in with this group? Who here likes to drink red wine? Yeah, okay, I figured. Okay. The reason that you'll hear it out there, red wine is good for you. It's not the wine, it's not the alcohol, it's the polyphenols. And the higher up in elevations that the grapes are grown, the more polyphenols they have in them. What do polyphenols do for us? They make the insides of our vessels slippery. It's really hard to stick cholesterol inside of a vessel that's coated with polyphenol. Pretty neat stuff, okay? Now don't go drink a bottle of wine before you go back to work today, please, okay? It helps with blood glucose, it helps with blood pressure. Our vessels are constantly doing this all day long, even when we're at rest. And they need to be slippery so that nasty stuff doesn't stick to the insides of them. And blue zones are just awesome places to start and study because these things are proven. Vitamin D3, okay? We hear about it, you know, they make all sorts of IU-sized supplements. You can get them at Costco, you can get them at Dave's place, which is where I prefer to get mine. And everybody talks about, oh, get out in the sun, vitamin D3, you need it for your bones. It helps with calcium absorption, it helps with phosphorus absorption. What it also helps with is stem cell activation. All the undifferentiated cells in our bodies that can actually step in and perform any role, they can be activated by vitamin D3. And if you think that getting outside is enough, it's not. And Dave, you can probably speak to this. Most Southern Californians are vitamin D3 deficient. We're wearing long sleeves, we're slathering on sunscreen, we're wearing hats, we're wearing sunglasses, and we spend most of our time indoors. You know, now, in today's day and age. So supplementation is really important. It really is important. If you're not doing it, I encourage everybody to do it. And Dave's a fantastic, I'm sorry to give you a plug again, Dave, but I love your pharmacy. Who's ever been called a fathead? Anybody? Nice. You're in good company, Mark. That's actually not really an insult because about 70% of our brains are fish oil or what we call DHA. It's fat. 70%. So who here is taking long-chain omega-3 fatty acids on a regular basis? Okay. There should be more hands going up because not only does brain development, but brain health over the lifespan depends on long-chain omega-3 fatty acids. 70% of our brain is this stuff. So Alzheimer's, dementia, memory loss, all of these things can be combated with a little bit of extra long-chain omega-3 fatty acid. Salmon, fatty fish, cold water fish. Why are they higher in omega-3 fatty acids, cold water fish? Well, it's stress, right? They're under stress. and they have to create these things to help insulate themselves. So when I go to farmers markets, particularly with my wife, this is another example. You know, my wife wants to buy the gorgeous, beautiful, perfect-looking, you know, heads of lettuce and kale and Swiss chard and all this stuff, and I want to get the ones that look a little stressed out. You know, why? Because those are the ones with the highest concentrations of polyphenols, because they've been under stress. And what do they do to survive? They generate more polyphenol, okay? And that's my plug for exercise before I get to another supplement. If you're not stressing your body, because we're all under stress of some kind, right? Like, wouldn't everybody in this room agree? They perceive stress in their life somewhere, you know? Yeah, everybody. It's normal. Financial stress, relationship stress, work stress, you know, kid stress. For us right now, we got a 13-year-old, a 12-year-old, and a 9-year-old. You know, sports, school, martial arts. Oh my God, I feel like a taxi driver after work every day. So there's always stress of some kind. But if you're not stressing your body, if you're not putting your body under stress, physical stress, exercise, you're doing yourself a tremendous disservice. And it doesn't have to be enormous. You don't have to go, you know, a gym. You don't have to go join a CrossFit gym. In fact, I would encourage you not to do something like that. You know, it can be as simple as going on a walk after dinner, okay? Remember, and this is something that I just want everybody to think about, okay? Just think about this. The food and beverage lobby, okay? This is not a political talk. The food and beverage lobby spends upwards of $30 million a year on Capitol Hill lobbying. $30 million a year. Food and beverage lobby in the U.S. And one of the major things that they go lobby is what to keep off of our food labels. This is true. You don't have to take my word for it. Go look it up yourselves. What to keep off of our food labels. Okay? Why? Because there are things in our food that we have no idea are in our food because they don't have to be on the label. Because the lobbyists have created laws that they don't support true reporting of all of the ingredients in our foods. Okay? So we might think that something says organic, and this is one of the most frustrating things for me, my wife too. Oh, babe, it's organic. Did you read the ingredients? No, but it's organic. I don't care if it's organic. What else is in it? You know, organic means lots of things to lots of different people. Read labels. It takes you 2 seconds. And do a little research. Do a little digging. Really find out what you're putting in your body, please. Okay, garbage in, garbage out. And I gave Mark this example before I got up here. My favorite car of all time is a Ferrari 458 Italia. It's just a beautiful work of art. If I had a car like that sitting in my garage, would I take it and put Rotten Robbie gas in it? Never, ever, ever. So you're driving your Ferrari around every day. You're living in it, okay, every day, and it's the only one you're ever going to get to drive. Why would you put terrible fuel in it, okay? We need to start looking at food like it's medicine, because it is. Most of the chronic diseases in the world, particularly in the United States, exist because of what we're putting in our bodies, period. If there's any doctors in here that want to debate that with me, I'm happy to, okay? Diabetes, obesity, high blood pressure, on and on and on and on. All of the chronic disease processes that are largely preventable trace back to food and habits surrounding food, okay? The last supplement that I want to throw out there, and this is the one that didn't make my list, but Dave suggested, CoQ10, coenzyme Q10. What is it? It is something that supports the mitochondria in our cells. What's a mitochondria? It's the power plant of our cells, okay? Without coenzyme Q10, mitochondria don't function well, and therefore cellular function declines. And what we see with aging is that levels of CoQ10 decline with age. Therefore, cellular function declines with age. So, supplement your diet with a little bit of CoQ10, and your cells will continue to work efficiently for you much longer over your lifespan. It's very simple. I listed some things here because it's so important to me, and we see it in the clinic every day. Good, healthy levels of CoQ10 help combat congestive heart failure, diabetes, Parkinson's. I put this on there because I thought about the group that I was going to be addressing today. If you don't want to share, it's okay. But there's probably a fair number of you in this room who are on statins or a statin of some kind, right? And you don't have to raise your hand, that's fine. But if you are, one of the things that statins do is it gives you myalgias. It makes your muscles hurt sometimes, particularly your legs. And CoQ10 can actually help combat that feeling with statin-induced myopathies. Why? Because when you take a statin, it makes your CoQ10 levels plummet, drop through the floor. You gotta supplement if you're on a statin, and you'll feel unbelievably more energized and more strength. So lastly, and before we get into some literature, and I want to take some questions, and for Mark's edification, do a little show up here for you. Let's get physical, baby. The blue zones and any other medical research that you look at and you read out there, and you guys are more than welcome to take these handouts. I want you to think about what every single animal, including us, on Earth need in order. Basic needs, right? John, if I'm choking you, are you thirsty or thinking about wanting to get a beverage? Absolutely not. Okay, we need air. Second, if you've got air, okay, but you have no food, okay, are you worried about the food? No, if you don't have what? Water. Okay, air, water. Then food. 3. Then fourth, shelter. Okay, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that nobody in this room is homeless. Okay, everyone in this room has the 4 basic needs met. Okay, but what's the 5th if we're human? It's this. It's connection with others. It's connection with other people. It's our relationships. And if you dig a little bit deeper into the literature, it is supported. Even the blue zones will report this. The reason that these little people that have no medical care smoke like fiends, eat taro root as their main source of vitamin C, is because they live together in small, very well emotionally connected groups. And that, more than any other factor, more than any other predictor, is what will tell us if we're going to live long and live well. So, aside from everything that I already talked about and presented, make certain that you're taking care of your relationships, okay, with the people that are most important to you, your spouses, husbands, wives, boyfriends, girlfriends, children, grandchildren, okay? Those are the things that make life sweet. They really, really are. And those are the things that are going to keep you healthy over your lifespan. And the literature helps support that. So please, watch what you put in your mouth. Get some moderate exercise every single day. I'd like to just say, if you're doing nothing right now, start with a walk, okay? Get good sleep, okay? And if you want to talk about sleep, I'm happy to talk about sleep and why it's important. But please remember, investing doesn't just mean about retirement, okay? I know plenty of people, and I know everyone in this room knows plenty of people that did a great job investing financially, only to retire and have to spend the lion's share of their retirement savings trying to buy their health back. I'm not giving my money to hospitals and doctors and having surgeries if an accident happens, if something befalls me, great. I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. But I'm investing now every single day so that I give as little of my money as possible to hospitals and doctors as I age. No offense. We love you, Pete. So without taking too much time, because I know this tends to happen when I'm up here, I'm happy to take questions and answers, but I'm going to pick on you again, Dave. You want to come on up here? So Mark asked me to make this interactive. So here we go. So this is what we do in clinic with patients all day long. Hi, Dave. I'm John. How's it going?
Hi, John. I'm Dave.
Pleasure to meet you. What brings you in today?
Bad shoulder, swimming.
You don't have a bad shoulder. They're both still there. You got 2 good shoulders. One just doesn't cooperate with you the way you'd like,
Exactly.
right?
Right.
Sound right?
Yep.
Okay. So real quick, before I even lay hands on you, let's take a look at your range of motion. Arms up. Good. Okay. Come on down. Good. Take that hand. Press on your belly for me, hard as you can. Any pain there?
No.
Okay. Other hand. Take this one out. Feel about the same?
Yep.
Okay. Fantastic. With this hand, reach behind your back as far as you can go. There you go. Any pain there?
No.
Okay, good. Relax. Other side. Good. Are you a swimmer, Dave?
Yes.
How often do you swim?
4 days a week.
4 days a week? How many yards are you putting in? How many?
3,000 each.
Woo! Widen your feet. Tighten up your belly. Don't let me move your hands. Keep them there. Solid as a rock. Whoa! Dave.
That hurts.
Okay, we didn't cooperate to make this up, right?
Yeah.
Hold that position. Come on, like a rock. Whoa! What's the matter?
Yeah.
Okay, you got some serious weakness in your posterior rotator cuff. Hold that position again. Hold, don't let me move you. Push to the middle, push to the middle.
That was a good move.
Okay.
Jeez.
That was a good move. How was it a good move?
Well,
Because you can't
I
hold
couldn't
it.
hold it.
Okay, arms up. Hold right there. Don't let me move you. Strong. Hold. Strong. 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 Ah. Okay. A little painful.
Yeah.
And a lot weak.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I work on you? Do I have your permission?
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. Let's get you up onto your back with your head here, your feet down there, please. Okay. Slide down toward me. So Dave is an avid swimmer. 3,000 yards each time he goes. And what we're going to look at is passive external rotation range. And that right there is not a happy shoulder, because as soon as I start to push him there, he starts to tighten up and guard. And he doesn't want me to take his arm very much past about 35 degrees of external rotation. And if I come over here, look at that. All the way out to 90, no problem. Butter, right? Feels good? Do you notice the difference as well?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So what we're going to do for Dave is we're going to do two techniques. Both of them are tissue techniques. We're going to take pectoralis minor, which is a little muscle up in the front of Dave's chest that attaches to the front of his shoulder blade, and we're going to pick it up off of his bone. Okay? You ready for that? Okay, drop your arm, please. There you go. I'm not going to hurt you a ton. Don't worry.
All right.
I'll hurt you a little, but you got a pacer in there?
Yeah.
Yeah? Feel okay?
Yeah.
All right. So what I'm doing is I'm taking my thumbs kind of up inside of Dave's armpit, and I'm trying to push them down to the floor, all the way through his body. I'm kidding. So pectoralis minor is a muscle that will pull your arm inward toward your body, but it's also a muscle that, if it's short, is going to resist Dave's ability to externally rotate. So we're going to loosen it up a little bit. Go ahead and relax. Good, you okay? Mm-hmm. Now we're going to go after a muscle called subscapularis. Go ahead and relax here for me. This is up underneath Dave's shoulder blade, and this one's going to smart a little bit, Dave. I'm sorry to tell you. Here we go.
Okay. Oh, that hurts.
Stay as relaxed as you can. Relax, you're killing me, man.
It does hurt.
And he's smiling. And so Dave's a drug dealer. He doesn't sign releases.
Wow.
I know, it's shitty. Okay, so all we did was calm down two muscles. Stay as relaxed as you can. Okay, go ahead and drop the arm for me. Drop the arm. No, don't push. Just drop it. Just drop it. There you go. We're going to take your joint. We're going to shift it back a little bit. You okay there?
Yeah.
All the pain calmed down?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, come back up to standing for me. And then face me again. You all right?
Yeah.
Widen your feet
That
out.
did hurt.
Widen your feet out. Tighten up your stomach a little bit.
Yeah.
And then hold here, strong. Everything you got. Hold, hold, hold. Look at that.
Wow. I like it. I like it.
Ah. Okay?
Man.
And so all we did was improve a length-tension relationship between muscles that do this, which are really, really overactive in Dave's shoulder, and they're inhibiting the muscles that do this. There's a concept called reciprocal inhibition. If you got a short muscle on one side that's short and tight, it's going to turn off and inhibit muscles that do the exact opposite. If you've got real tight hip flexors, for example, because you sit in a desk all day long, you're going to have back pain because it's going to turn off your lower back muscles and your rear end, which is a hip extensor, which is also one of the muscles that helps support your lumbar spine. So all we did was loosen up pec minor, loosen up subscap, give them a little bit more length, and calm them down a little bit. And as a result, Dave's infraspinatus and teres minor, or his posterior rotator cuff, is able to produce a lot more power. Okay? Nice job, man. Thanks.
Thank you.
How's that for interactive, dude? Yeah.
We have time for a few questions.
Okay. Questions? Ann says, not much time. Stoops. Nate.
Yeah, so I liked your little plug to stay in the Rotary Club, because if you leave, you might die. Maybe I'll make that connection, that was good. But okay, I love the myths versus reality thing, and I lost a ton of weight.
You look great.
And it felt like it started to come back on. So
That is absolutely a reality, and part of that has to do with momentum. And here's what I mean by that, okay? Protein, okay, and as you'll read there in the handout, down at the bottom, first page, lean protein foods have the highest thermic effect and suppress your appetite better than any other macronutrient. Okay? If you talk to my wife or any of my daughters and you ask them, you know, how come you guys don't like to sit real close to dad? He's hot, they'll tell you. Like, there's heat always. If you have lean muscle mass on your body, and the more of it you put on, the more calories you're burning at rest, okay? So when you're training, you're exercising, you're eating well, there's momentum that's created because every single cell in your body gets more efficient at utilizing calories, okay? And that's why, yeah, man, it comes on easy, but it's hard to take off until you pass that critical point, right? Like for me, if I don't go to the gym for 3 days in a row, I feel sluggish. Like I just start like, oh man, I gotta get back. My body's kind of addicted the other direction, you know? So once you create that momentum in your routine, it gets easier and easier and easier. Thanks, good question. If there aren't any other questions, I want to do one more interactive exercise. I'd like you all to stand up last time. Thanks. Let's bring this home. So once again, steady yourselves, because I'm going to ask you to close your eyes again. And this time, we're going to take a trip, but we're going to go a lot shorter distance. I want you to imagine this person standing to your right. And the person standing to your right is you. However, it is the version of you that's been eating well for a very long time. It's the version of you that's committed to his or her health. It's the version of you that holds his or her relationships in the highest regard. It's the version of you that shows up to work every day to create significance and meaning and purpose and power around everybody who's in your circle. It's the version of you that you could only imagine for yourself. The highest version of you. And all that's separating you from the person you're about to step into is a little bit of work and a lot of commitment. So very gently take a tiny little step to the right and see how it feels stepping into that person. Let's go out today and all do our best to become that person. Thank you for having me.